Hello everyone, this is a video about a proton pump inhibitor, so a heartburn medication causing severe heartburn in a person who took it. So quite a paradoxical video. So someone posted this question saying that they were admitted to the ER for certain symptoms. They were given a proton pump inhibiting medication and they had severe heartburn. So why might that have happened? It's a good question. As per usual, nothing that I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. So what's interesting to me and a little bit confusing to me or surprising to me is that folks who are given proton pump inhibiting medications, which again work by shutting down your stomach's ability to produce stomach acid, it always surprises me that there aren't more frequently reported digestive side effects from those medications. Because on the one hand, it does make sense that if a person has a really irritated stomach lining, if they have gastritis or an ulcer, or they have issues with their lower esophageal sphincter, which connects the esophagus or your throat to your stomach, if that's off kilter and it's refluxing acid up into your throat, it makes a lot of sense that those medications should help to reduce those symptoms. And oftentimes they do. They can be really, really helpful. But it does surprise me that when you drastically curtail the amount of acid in a person's stomach, that they don't have tons of digestive issues, because stomach acid is really important. The stomach makes it for a reason. We need it to digest our food. So it's a pleasant surprise to me that folks who are on proton pump inhibiting medications or other types of acid blocking medications don't have tons and tons of digestive issues. Now, some do. Some people go on these medications, they get bloated, which makes all the sense in the world because you don't have enough acid to activate the enzymes in your stomach, and that starts the whole digestive cascade in motion, really. Anyways, again, I'm glad for folks who are on these medications, they don't have tons of digestive issues as a rule. So why might this individual have had, or why might a person, I should say, because I'm not giving direct advice to anyone here, but why might a person potentially have severe heartburn from taking an acid blocking medication? One possibility is that it was just a big fat coincidence. That's always a possibility in life, but probably not. Another possibility is that it may be that in this individual, blocking the acid actually is really not good for them, and they are one of the rare individuals who really misses their stomach acid when it's not able to be produced properly, and that leads to heartburn. Now the question would be, well, why would that happen? Why would a person have less acid and that somehow contributes to heartburn? What I've seen in my own clinical practice many times over the years is folks who have heartburn or reflux and they go on a stomach acid supplement, so they're taking more acid and their heartburn or reflux gets better. And that's not just a weird thing that's seen in my little old practice in Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's something that has been reported for years and years by many individuals in the functional health community: naturopathic doctors, functional medicine doctors, osteopaths, whatever, doctors of osteopathy, DOs down in the States, nutritionists, the list goes on and on. So this is a phenomenon that we see semi-regularly. And so despite the fact that it's something that is seen, I have not been able to find any research literature that has specifically taken a dive into why that might be the case. And I'm not holding my breath. There's really probably very little funding for those types of studies, but it would be really, really nice to know. So the best theory that I've heard about this, and it's draws from research literature to some extent, but no specific studies looking at this. So this is still, to my understanding, theoretical physiology. But to my understanding, the best explanation I've heard, I should say, is that when we don't have enough acid in our stomachs, then the food can't be broken down properly, and that's going to cause it's going to cause a suboptimal digestion of the food. So the food kind of passes from the stomach into the intestines, not being optimally digested. They're not being optimally broken down up to that point. Of course, the majority of the breakdown happens in the small intestine under the action of the enzymes from the pancreas, and bile helps with the fat absorption side of things. But most of the digestion is happening in the small intestine, but a lot of the kind of first wave digestion should be happening in the stomach. So if that suboptimally digested food gets into the small intestine, as those enzymes are working away trying to break down that food, if it wasn't optimally digested up to that point, it does provide a substrate for the microbes in the gut to eat, and then when they eat, they create gas as a byproduct of their metabolism. That's why we have, burping, that's why we have bowel gas. It's made by the microbes in our intestinal tracts. And so the theory that I've heard is that if you are not breaking down your food optimally in your stomach because of low stomach acid, that leads to more of a upper small intestine bloating or gas production, therefore some bloating in those tissues. That bloating down in the lower abdomen is going to push up on the digestive organs around that area. It's going to basically push up on the stomach, push up on that lower esophageal sphincter, that little muscle that connects the throat to the stomach. And by pushing up on that muscle, it's going to potentially push it open a little bit. And by pushing it open a little bit, it opens up the doorway for the acid in the stomach to start splashing up and getting into the throat and causing symptoms, heartburn or reflux. And so one might ask, well, wait, we're talking about low stomach acid, so wasn't the acid really low in the stomach to begin with? Would there really be enough for it to reflux up into the throat? And the answer to that is, well, stomach acid is incredibly acidic. It's got a pH of 1 or 2. The lower the number, the more acidic it is. So it's very, very acidic. And the cells in the throat are not equipped to deal with acid. The cells in the stomach are fantastically strong, robust. They're able to deal with acid all day long, thankfully. The cells in the throat are not able to deal with that. So even just a little tiny smattering of acid getting up into the throat is going to feel really, really bad. So even though there may be lower than optimal stomach acid in the first place, even that little bit that's there that might get flushed up into the throat is going to feel really, really uncomfortable. So theory being suboptimal acid leads to suboptimal digestion, leads to some more increased gas production in the upper intestines. That pushes up on the abdominal organs, and then that kind of mechanically forces open that lower esophageal sphincter, and then that's what allows the reflux to occur. So then these folks take acid as a supplement, take stomach acid as a supplement. They're breaking down their food better. They don't get that bloating, like that upper intestinal bloating. It doesn't press on the lower esophageal sphincter, and so everything stays nice and tightly closed, and then the patient's feeling better, and miraculously, hey, my heartburn and reflux is gone. And so that's the best theory that I've heard up to this point. It makes physiological sense. Whether that's exactly what's happening, I don't know, but I do know that clinically a lot of folks who go on a stomach acid supplement wind up having an improvement or resolution of their heartburn. Now, not everybody does. Some people generally seem to have too much acid production. There's other things that are going on, but it definitely is something that has played out in clinical practice many times in my experience, and again, many colleagues have talked about that as well. So bringing you back to the original question, why might a person have severe heartburn from a PPI medication? I presume it has something to do with that same process. I mean, person who's in the hospital, they're probably not there just for good times. They're not just there to kill some time. They're there because they're not feeling well. So there's the stress from that, which would be having a negative impact on digestive function. Then you bring in the PPI, stomach acid goes way down, and then it may have led to some suboptimal digestion of whatever food was kicking around in their digestive tract. I don't know how long it had been since that person had eaten, but if there was some food kicking around that was still, working on needing to be digested, that may have had a negative impact on that food getting processed, and then that would potentially lead to that whole cascade of the upper intestinal bloating, leading to the reflux and everything that I just mentioned. So that would be my prevailing theory as to why that might happen in someone's body. But again, could have been just a big coincidence, could be some other explanation. If you're listening to this video and you have a better explanation than that, I'd love to hear it. In any event, I hope that this information was at least interesting, hopefully even a little bit useful, but those are my best thoughts on the question. So thank you for the question. I always appreciate the questions. If anybody has any questions on this topic, which is quite niche, so I can't imagine there'd be many more, but you never know. Any questions on this topic or anything else, just post in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer as soon as I can, and I will leave it there for now.